yo, ayẹyẹ ìgbà o, àbọ̀ yẹn o. Jẹ́ yóò dùn àlá, jẹ́ yóò dùn àlá, láàṣẹ yẹn ṣe sí lá. Jẹ́ nà fún ẹ, bẹ́ẹ̀ ọ̀nà ẹ̀dùn jù o, bẹ́ẹ̀ ọ̀nà ẹ̀dùn jù o, àbẹ́gbẹ́ ẹ o. Lọ́yàn o, ṣì àgbẹ̀yẹ, á sì àgbẹ̀yẹ lọ́yàn. Asi agbeyo, si agbeyo, asi agbeyo, asi agbeyo. Ayẹyẹ ìgbà o, suyo, ayidori, abọnyẹ o, suyo. Yẹnyọ tẹ babi mu, suyo, ayidori. Yẹnyọ tẹ tẹnà kọńdó, suyo. Yẹnyọ tẹ babi mu o, yẹnyọ tẹ tẹnà kọńdó. Wẹbẹ tẹ ẹnà mẹjà yìí mu o, àwọ abọnyẹ o. Mọ ètè àbísùn ẹ. Mo ete alizun emloyan, mo egba elu na mo egba elu mo yan suni, mo ge abegbe o, abegbe e wa yan lo agbolu, apo eblo loyan, apo eblo, doni abuya yan gba ye, na doni abuya yan gba ye. Di apoya nyongba ide apoya gba iya edowe abonye o suyo ayidoni suyo royo abonye o suyo ayidoni suyo nasi adeyo royo nasi adeyo royo nasi adeyo aya bi adonuwo nasi adeyo aya no bozo pajediye pada dudu ebo na pada dudu ebo na mo abi adonuwo ayidori abonye o inu de lu atigage na pẹ̀lẹ́dẹ̀ mọ̀kún wo àbọ̀yẹ̀ o. Sùyọ̀ o, ayélujáde. Bọ́wé, sùyọ̀ o. Sìràpàwé, níàwé, bọ́wé, pínáwé, sùyọ̀ o. Jẹ́pàwé, sáwé, ayélujáde. Àjọyẹ̀ ìkẹ́fẹ́, òsì àdéyẹ. Sùyọ̀ o, ayélujáde. Àjẹ́dí, sùyọ̀ o. Wàgbẹ́. Yosuala abegbe ye na mu abia tonu ode oju
okay
ayedori abonye o suyo ayedori so arege yo muso asteku amajo ida jeje ye tenabo sanige ya munya o Maderi oyan so Maderi wa bo to tun de o gbayan na ti na yan di oju aye lórí ajidori abonye o lórí ape ayan gbaye de ape agba iye ede owe gboyan mo gba we yi mo gba gbo eyan we yi mo apon bari gboyan mo mo le bode gba egbon di atana àwọn ma ye seso ayélujáde abonye o nasi agele ajegoranu o kenu ayélujáde abonye o suyo ayélujáde abonye o suyo ayélujáde
Erosha
Ega no broyon Dede do konge anyo swa Ola abonye o Agbeyo lori ayẹyẹ igba o Mo ilo a Mo ebi abo atugu e broyon Mo ando di pepe do we Na mo pa iwe we mo pa igbeyo we mo pa ya ni ona Yàrá abonye o si agbeyo ayẹyẹ imu omu o Adege ayẹyẹ imu omu o Adegbaya, ayeja imuo muo, ayeja imuo, ayegbaya bawo. When he something here. Namodwe. Agbele. Na agbele. Don't si agbele. No kuanya si agbele. Adegbaya bronyo, adegbaya o, wayesu aronu o. Ayidori abonye o, suyo. Ayidori abonye o, suyo. Ayidori abonye o, suyo. Ayidori, suyo. Onyo zabla demune. Onyo zabla demune o. Wala nyoma gbe eko ebe e momo bimo. Adegbaya o. Can you see your way? You say, my way, you are my young way, you said, they're not wrong. You are a Yaimua. But you are Dennis, why your swap? You are the abo. Now he can't know. Mona yaluya boy samaluge.
Good evening. Welcome to the show. I'm Alfonso Z and Sot of the Liberia Public Radio, 10 LPR-TV. I want to welcome all our viewers and listeners across the globe. Bowie Hennings, good evening. Bill Carson the man, long time, man. I learned that you are in a race in Liberia, right? White Dragon revenge the death of Bruce Lee. Good evening. So I want to welcome all of our folks. Ram, thank you so much. Tell Lion Tear. These are our prime-time viewers, listeners, and followers right here on the Liberia Public Radio. We want to welcome all our viewers and listeners. Thank you so much for being part of today's program. We always like to put you in that mood of traditional happenings so that you know exactly what you're doing. Just hit the share button to invite someone to add your comment. This is the Alfonso and Sot of the Liberia Public Radio. And
General Jamba, I say Oriol. Monta Doctor Womboy, the way man, make our bang, and he said, the block, merci beaucoup. Encore la magie, et puis à des démons. Aïe, et puis à des démons. C'est un j'ai été plié de sa meilleure de black la one today. Et pas pour faire quoi de play pour ne pas d'avoir à salo. Et dans le black, il y a bon yawa, tu prends pour dire que y a des manuaux. Oui, oui, oui. Nyo be money kayo. Ko se boy ble maye anyana. Mon papa connaît beau firme. Merci beaucoup. Et bien voyez, maya voyez. Elle a des personnes se beau. Le très ancien Yves Kané à Seigneur Okaï. Le grand frère Oura Michael. Allons seulement. De voyez mais. Et la somme à nous de voyez mais. Classé maintenant de voyez mais. Loi sans ma boîte de voyez mais. Panon tient ma note de voyez mais. La one dit ma note de voyez mais. J'étais Florent. Voyez des ondes de yakpa. Y'a bien patient de vous ready. On est chichi, mon yahweh. On m'en a d'habillé d'applaud. Pour diablo, mon pédio. Quand y'a John Blair, soit fort ready. Soit fort messiah, et Johnny Papa. Mon yahweh, que ouais. T'as mon époix pour forcer. Wait, yahweh. You the no place so yeah. Kason ya ka go the way. Boni asaba go the way. Popo asagi go the way. You want to find the way. The way the way, the for the way. Where the way you. Mon grand frère Armel depuis très longtemps. The way where the poor mamadi. The way the masia pia yite. The way where the poor man, it was a way blade and Yanuama mana. What the way where that more about my man? It was a way blade that Daniel Bell said more. The way you want someone more dear. One idea in a guide, no coupon. Oh, the idea, my dear, my young way, to that.
What a beautiful song.
Yeah, what's wrong? My GTA,
very shortly we will get this program moving. Welcome to the show, Telephone here, and so very shortly.
We don't wait to the yeah. We don't wait to the I don't wait to the I don't wait to the now. To work to a day, to Ferric, to a week, down way to the that's what I do. My way at the member that would be my down way to the well, on the violation, she appointed us to a corner, so I down way to the wait, say my sound, yeah. Our mama was saying a sound, yeah. Thinking my yakademo was saying a sound, yeah. Wait, let come on. Where that you wait? Where you bring go away? Where you need any way? Tell them you are no any way. Oh, what that dear was smooth again, you must move. I am a poor anyway. Oh, yeah, no money, my young way, you don't
Oh man, what a beautiful song here. Thank you so much.
Mama, you are by your web. I go to where they will do about I'm away at Mama, now that I never want for the Wula. Osimo, you pray, Mama, way at I am Papa, my lord, is I'm like I don't care. When I am down, I am by a cloud. Mama, way at I don't have more glass, yeah, I'm a chat, Yaka, you know by now, some more by glass, Yawuma way at my father, that's in the book, I got a book for a chief for us. Tap out, Mama, Jimma way at by Uncle you, but we are the contact, woman. Yes, I'm a bossy, I gave my way at Mama, I you go, the president of Zimbabwe, and I'm Colonel Penashamari. Yaukai, Yawa, my way at why was the devil, my son, my flua, the bad book, the number of money, you're not the way, man, I'm a German man. My German man, what my Tonyo. Why just the assembly? When you love it, you say, my Borupia, you're not going to have Nana, may want that. You say, I'm a way man, you're not the way man. The way man, the way man. You're not so man, not the way man. Last the way man. To us, my brother, the way man.
Thank you so much. Let's see what's happening here. We're doing a little bit of housekeeping yet. Good evening to want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. I am Afonso Zienso, of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Welcome to the show to all of our viewers and listeners right here this evening. Here we are this evening. It's 8:13 Eastern Standard Time right here from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners. Thank you so much for your patience, for your commitment to this network. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping here to Mr. Wilson Board. Thank you so much, A.B. Arthur. Oh, trust me. I wish I was a millionaire. I think I need to win some sort of Powerball. The resilience, the commitment of you guys on this network cannot be overemphasized. Every day, new faces, a new group. That's give us the zeal to do what we are doing. I don't care the day goes horrible, but your commitment, your time, your energy is so much value to us. There's no way that we can ignore that. Sumant Do, thank you so much. I believe you're just popping in, but if that's the case, you are located rightfully placed on the diaspora informative news outlet, Liberia Public Radio. In three phases, we keep it balanced, fair, and proportional. It may not meet your criteria. We do understand that because everybody take a political side, and there's a passion out there to support your leader. So sometimes that gets under your skin and you just undo and put your country aside in terms of what you want to see happen. But because there are so much strong political attachment, you put out that government to say, anyhow, my guy will win, even knowing fully well he is unable to manage the administrative functions of the country. So we do understand that. We do believe that because of the diverse view in society, and for which we all having this here. I'm saying here there's something sort of frozen here, but let's see what happened. But overall, we strongly have believe your passion, your convictions, and we have no doubt of your support to the candidate of your choice. That's the beauty, that's the essence of democracy. And all we call for on this platform here is to accord everyone the opportunity, the shot, with the ugly, whatever group of category, as long as they are Liberian, accord them the opportunity to exercise their God-given right. If we could just put that ahead as a face cap, as the height of the nation, trust me, we make critical decisions and we will try to do the best we can. Just putting aside the political aspect of it. Oh my God. You know the guy can be a town chief for. You know he can be a town chief. He's unable to preside over somebody who stole a chicken in the village to make a strong decision, to make a decision that is good for the village. You swear say like, bro, man, that man must be president. He must be representative. He must be senator. Guess what? You are causing more harm to the country, to the nation. Let's get a conversation started. Okay, we want to say it good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on your location. We know people that are watching to worldwide, every part of the world, which is a great thing. If this is your first time, we say you are wholeheartedly welcome. I wish I had the ability to sweep or roll down the red carpet for just taking time to be with us here. That we must acknowledge. We must admit, because sometimes we talk something that drives you crazy because of your political attachment, but yet instead you do not distance yourself. And that's the beauty of democracy. I am Afonso Zienso, your host. Here come one of our star supreme member, Madam Mamin Esther Tapi Mo. Thank you so much. Your engagement. I hope one of these days you will be able to make time for us here. Just like have a conversation. Why so much your passion to know what is going on in your country. We don't need to be talking to politicians all of the time. This is not our traditions on this network. We think the citizenry more or less come first. The politician, they'll always say things that you want to hear, even if they're saying it the wrong way. They will be very calculative and strategic in order for their message to resonate. But we don't really play into that soundbite. Let me bring in the liberal progressive, the most liberal on this network. He's back. Samson Blocko Brantor from Saxton, Sacramento, California. Strong supporter of Ambassador Joseph Newman Boykai. He is a liberty partisan. I do not know what are the Belity faction, the Nyombli factions, but I heard he returned from Liberia. Now he's moving in the directions of the progressive, Tiawan Gonglo, and the rest of the people. I don't know. But he made it clear known. He's involved. He's unstable. He's unbalanced. So whatever, when the day comes, whatever the day the sun rises, that's what he turned to. Let me bring in the interest of fairness, if you can disabuse me. Yeah, we can have this conversation. Oh. You're a commissioner. I'm not hearing you.
Good evening, Mr. Soul. Thank you for inviting us again this evening, and let's have a clear conversation here. And one of the things here is that I like people, politicians who love Liberia, who love Liberians, and that's what I like. That's all my objective would be in anybody that I want to support. That person must love Liberia and must care for the Liberian people.
So how many of this stuff you brought and you didn't even surprise me one, man? You just want to be showing your that you are initiator in our country, that though.
When you can come on me. Yeah. I never see a man who can let him go. Are you an Israeli now? When the Palestinians hit the Israeli, they hit multiple 55 times. I'll leave you right there before you start talking things where you're not supposed to talk here. What you try? What kind of sign you doing? What sign language now? Where's that? But anyway, no, Mr. So look, I think if you have the opportunity today to go on Front Page Africa, there's a lot of information out there that are not of good nature as far as I'm concerned with Liberians and the Liberian people, specifically with this government. It has been published that this government, the leadership of this government, the president and the justice minister was invited by the CIA. According to the story, they even wrote, they said, even when Mobutu was alive, who everyone, even before I was born, people knew that Mobutu was closely linked with CIA, but he was never invited. What would be the reason, Mr. So? It's very interesting, and I'm going to go a little bit deeper into that. There are other stories. The human rights report on Liberia is up. So those are things that I'm going to be looking at today and tomorrow.
Yes, yeah, the microphone is open. I saw that. I tried to take a deep breath to go in depth, and I talked to some of our folks close to Washington and see what they make up. But that
it's at this point, it's a progressive liberal. I will do some serious speculations, and I might not be far away from those speculations as far as truth is concerned. One or two things happening here with the invitation to CIA. What in that White House? You're being invited to the CIA, or spy agencies of the United States of America, and you're being invited to do what? To spy for them? To do what?
Possibly. What could possibly be the reason?
Exactly. So here's one or two things that I can take out of this here very quickly, Mr. So. Either this president and his people are in deep trouble in terms of money laundering, the death of all Liberians.
Is that your first instinct?
Huh?
Is that your first instinct?
Well, yeah, because there been a lot of issues from the Congress and some member of the Biden administration.
Money laundering. You say you are liberal, but liberals, I don't understand your that sort of liberalism concept, because the liberal always
kind of like, but sometimes I wonder whether you are a real liberal.
I am. That's why I don't bite my tongue. I'm a real liberal. I'm not one of those northern. I'm not one of those northern liberal that live next to you. I'm not one of those. I am a true liberal. The northern liberal, when things get hot, they run away from you. The northern liberals are the one that used to give the black American a lot of problems, because when they count on them, when the time comes, they don't, specifically people for the liberal from Massachusetts, when the time comes, they try to shy away from the serious issue. So I'm not one of those northern liberal. I am a real liberal. But let me make my point. To be invited by the CIA, a president of a country, first of all, after this invitation, it doesn't matter how the we administration spend this. When he sits among his peers, other African leaders, they're gonna look at him from a different perspective. Is he here to spy on us? What is he here? Unless President Weah can do us a favor and have a press conference immediately.
I'm not sure even if that happens, we will validate that, because that's not something been happening. Then I, as a free thinker or a moderate Democrat, the sort of Joe Manchin type. You say you're liberal. I don't know which type of liberal
you're Joe Manchin type Democrat. Then you are one of those northern liberal that we cannot count on. Because Joe Manchin took us to the clinic within the last year or so. Joe Manchin stood in the way of true democracy here for the minority. And you want to tell me you're Joe Manchin type Democrat? Then perhaps you don't belong in my columns whatsoever.
Oh, no, I more or less I stand for my constituent, for my regions, and that's. I mean, I'm a moderate. If it sounds good to the
the moderate, you people are the one that always causing us problem. You, the moderate, you consider yourself a moderate. Then when the time comes for us to ask for voting rights, for the time comes for us to ask, make sure we have enough people in the Supreme Court that will seek the interest of the liberals, then you stand in the way of that.
You are. You say you are liberal, but you narrow your talking point to one thing: money laundering. What's about the
I'm not done. You see, that's one of the things I like about you, conservative. Consider yourself to be moderate, but you're not moderate. You're all Liberians are conservative. Let me just say it, except for me. Let me just tell you this, Mister. So let me just tell you that one thing I like about you guys, you like to, in the middle of a sentence, stop the person, and then you hold that person to half of the statement that is being. I wasn't done. I said most likely. I don't know for sure, but most likely, money laundering and the death of these auditors, other Liberians that according to the paper, other Liberians that have been linked with this administration. So, and these are some of the things that when people talk about, then they say you hate this administration. You are not a friend, you're enemy of the state. When these things happen and you decided, the administration decided to be quiet and don't say anything, and you let the other people to improvise, you let the other people to provide information to the audience, you let other people to provide information to the international communities that are listening and watching, without you coming to rebut anything, then it becomes, after a while, people say, well, maybe there's truth to it. And these are some of the things. So why would CIA invite the president of the Republic of Liberia? One reason, I would say, and I could be wrong, but one reason, the $25 million map out, there was a serious issue with the auditor report that says so much to say things are happening when nothing was going on. They got a list of people who they say they were collecting money. No one shows up. They got phone number that doesn't match the names and what have you. So all of those things people were watching. Now, another thing to say, okay, Mr. President, because the American, they always seek their interest, and I don't blame them. They have the right to seek their interest. So now with the Chinese, pretty much all over Africa. And maybe CIA is looking at Liberia to say, look, we'll bite. We want to make sure that you guys in our corner with the whatever you want to call it, snow war, cold war, whatever, warm war, whatever you want to call it, against the Chinese. So perhaps they want Liberia on their side. And so they try to show a president, we have to say, look, buddy, these are the information we have on you. Play with us or we expose you. It could be, and this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. With the CIA issue, it's going to be interesting.
Now, you see, all of your analysis tonight, if I go into this, the very next thing you're going to tell me I'm extreme, I am the Donald Trump, I'm not wishing, but I'm not even hearing security concerns from you as a laborer who should be
security concern about for who? For Liberians?
Of course.
CIA gonna hurt Liberia?
That's
Liberians?
what I'm saying. They could question the government of Liberia on the level of security, considering some of the factors that you're talking about. The proliferations and the behaviors of students or militia groups by not only students, by political party has exhibited your party and other people. They are being dressed in military attire, we have been seeing for quite a period of time. All of those could be a genuine reasons among, even including what you mentioned. But I'm surprised why you left that out as a laborer, so you claim to be.
Mr. So, my liberalism is wide, war, and it's well known all over the world. I am not here to compromise my liberalism, and I am not here to kumbaya with anybody who is not on board with my liberals behavior. So I am not here to apologize. I'm telling you what I suspect.
Dr. George Toto here.
I am telling you what I suspect.
I'm not calling for apologies. I want you to know that. Don't appease the audience now.
Mr. Sword, look at this face. Does it look like a face that will appease anybody, your audience, or whoever? No, I am here to be truthful. I am here. Look, let me just tell you that, and then people will say when you are in Liberia, you are not saying that. My hair ain't faying anybody more, but nobody here faying my more. But then they'll say, well, you are in Liberia, you don't say anything like that. But there are occasions when these statements should be made. So, Mr. So, I'm not going to appease anybody because I want people to love me. They love me already, Mr. So.
Okay. Dr. George Toto is LPR senior analyst. He's based in Pittsburgh, USA, Republic of did I say Republic of Liberia? Oh,
Republic of Liberia.
Yeah. That's what happens when you have liberals.
I almost said the liberal getting confused.
Yes.
Good evening. Welcome back, liberal. Let me see you.
Thank you, Doc. Appreciate it. By the way, you look excellent the other day on your speaking engagement. I mean, it was wonderful. Wonderful to see that.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, Doc.
Okay, also thank you.
Yes, we're gonna this microphone gonna be open here because there's another one open every day. Why some kind of drama or some sort of unexpected? It's always coming outside. Why? It makes us not to conclude previous conversation. I don't know what's the standing of the guns that were brought into the country. I don't know what becomes of Gloria Mususka. I don't know what becomes of also linked with Jefferson Koji. I don't know what becomes of what else again we were talking about. The censor. I mean, create mix-up boxer, these sort of mix-up boxer thing here. What's going on?
Like what about when I was in school, one of my sociology professor used to say social disorder. When there's a social disorder in the community, in the country, everywhere, everybody be moving from one point to one point without no good conclusion. And that's what's happening. We talk on so many issues without getting any good resolution or to resolve the issue. Another one I jump into again. We see the this area news like the Unity Party about VP, about who's going to be the vice presidential candidate of the JMB. The noise.
Trouble that I mean talking that one.
I mean that's it there. The noise are out there.
Wow.
You see,
Anglo Garden that ISO.
Yeah, I mean,
you see here, my last people.
Vice presidential creating chaos in Liberia, especially the Unity Partisan among their own people. They will see the president of Liberia visiting the U.S.
What kind of business is this?
And the president coming. The president coming, not to see the president visiting the State Department or the White House, but they say the CIA headquarters. You know,
suppose the government of Liberia needs some sort of technical.
Yeah, normally it's unprecedented when president go. Normally we hear the State Department, White House, but to be invited by the CIA headquarters. And then
politician, as well.
Yeah, so that's what to make news. Then if you come down in Liberia also too, we talk about Legion. When it comes to the census report, they hit our back. They say they are accurate. Their further report will be up in June. You talk about that also too, the biometric process, a creating problem. So all the mountains of problem have not been resolved. The Jerome Verda situation, Jefferson Koji, election. So we in a social disorder.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, let's welcome legendary Sissy Goya, senior contributor, analyst, and top insider of Councilor Tiawanse Gonglo.
Ooh, the liberal is here. We're running patriotic now. Just add one more P to your LP, you'll be LPP, you'll be in a good place. George Toto, nice to see you. We finished welcoming him yesterday. Today, now fire starting. So, Mr. So, how are you? The liberal.
Good evening.
I got last night, but I heard you say you were going to need me on your show. I'm all ears. My baby fell last night and cut the tongue, so I had to run. She was running all around looking for daddy. And
the Lama Queen?
The Lama Queen. So mom was trying to
took care of that.
She wasn't.
I'm sorry about that. I hope the cutting does not turn to.
It was not big. She was looking for me, came down the stairs, rolled down the stairs, and talking and cut herself. And then her mom tried to pep her, but that wasn't gonna. Mr. So, you know the process. Her mom would not pep her, so I had to go grab her, and I just had to get off.
I said, one day, I didn't even hear her say mama. Everything was. I said, oh, yeah, my man, he really like he's something. Okay, guys, look, the microphone gonna be open here. Why the distraction too much? It making us things becoming like a cold case or how you call it, whatever fight. So because we're not finding solution, because they kept adding up as we try to get to the bottom line or something, another thing pops out. Is that how we're gonna be? Is that how we're gonna live as a country now?
Well, let me take a shot at this here, Mr. So. I think because we have some serious, lazy opposition. Because the point that I'm trying to make on this, Mr. So, is if we had some people strong-minded, well, of course they are, but if we had some people who seriously thinking about running for this office and becoming president of the Republic of Liberia, and surrounding themselves with some smart people, the sad thing is the smart people that are supposed to be around there are not around them right now. They support them, but they are not close ring. They're not day-to-day activities, but the lazy people are the one. These people, the CDC and President Weah and this government, I've been saying it over and over and over, and I will continue to say that. They have not done anything that you would say, oh my goodness, this is a serious mistake and an honest mistake. Most of the mistake and most of their problem, they are on false error, where you bring all these things but on yourself. one thing for sure, if they do something here that you like, people say, oh, CDC did something good today. Next day, they will try to do something that will turn people around. And the point of this opposition, these people I have buying up fold of error from CDC that I'm going to be playing here from time to time. You would think the opposition would try to at least capitalize on some of these mistakes and just stay with it for some time. Beat the drum. Let it sink in the head of the Liberian people. But they don't do that. They will come and criticize. Then as president, we and CDC move from one era to another. So is the opposition, just hopping like grasshopper, hopping everywhere. When are they going to stick to something that will matter to the Liberian people and speak on that? And these are the people that want to lead us? Well, we got some serious problem. And the liberals not going to let them forget that. I will remind them every opportunity that I have that they are not doing us a favor. Mr. So, okay. It's very sad on both ends.
Yeah.
Sissy, good evening. Welcome. We're going to leave this microphone open because it looked like every other day as we try to keep focused to find solutions to maybe put forward remedied regardless of our people different political opinions and view. It makes it very difficult because every other day something comes in and news is something about that is happening concurrently. So we are forced to talk about it. As a result, there are things remain unresolved. The UL thing we try to figure out, and but we've been putting forward here. The Liberal has opened something here, which of course is in the public domain, getting a little bit tips. He's hoping that the president going to call a press conference. And I said, well, if the president did, will we validate what the president going to be saying? Because this is not like a tradition that we know about. But I will be looking out information coming from the embassy near the capital or the State Department. That's what I'm going to look in, or that's what I'm going to be looking to see what this invitation, what is an invitation, or the president came for the conference and they decided to use that time and express some issues that is happening in the country ahead of this. But you know, the news folks, they know how to beat the headlines as well. But when you hear this here, the president, CIA, whatever, the Central Intelligence Agency, invitation to the president. What is your thought process on that? Let's just lay this headline, because sometimes our folks, some of the things that are pulled out, we know the marketing aspect, we know the propaganda, we know the different types of media skill you can deploy to get the ordinary people who just don't look beyond the borderline. I know it. So these things, it don't rise my hair like I'm gonna bake like a yeast. And that's what this liberal, that's what he's doing now. He's more than like somebody baking raspberry from Totan here this evening. But let's look at this here, invitation to the president of the Republic of Liberia. I see it as inclusive of all happening now. It's like enough is enough. And so it would be unfair to kind of pick on one thing. But you, a politician, you know why it is, things happening. He does as well. But let's put aside his liberal views. If you see that, what clicks to your mind? What was be your first instinct?
So, Mr. So, let's agree for a second that the information is true. And that's a big step, because before I came on, I checked the statedepartment.gov, state.gov website. I checked whitehouse.gov. I checked CIA.gov. And then I checked emansion.lr. None of them, not even the executive mansion website. It talks about, as far as I'm concerned, my president is going to the UAE, and that's it. That is on eMansion's website. But let's go into and say, in espionage, sometimes you don't talk about these things. And so I don't expect the State Department to publish on their State Department website that the President of the Republic of Liberia has been invited to the CIA headquarters. And I don't expect that to be on the CIA website either. But then that begs the question, if this is clandestine, then why is the Liberian government leaking it? Or people in the government, because I can't say Liberian government because it's not on eMansion website. Why are elements in Liberia leaking it? How did they get to know? Because it's not on the embassy website. I checked the U.S. Embassy in Liberia website.
Yes, and that's what I was coming to get. It's not there.
It's not there. And so if the embassy is keeping it hush, if the State Department is keeping it hush, the White House is keeping it hush, and the CIA is keeping, because by the way, before somebody say, oh, the CIA never published this, the last time the CIA published a dossier about foreign leaders being invited at the CIA was about a May 16, 1958 invitation to a few head of states that was created in, the document was created in 2016, actually released in 2002. Actually created in 2002, released in 2016 for a 1958 invitation. So we're not hoping to see this right now. But if this is true, then that means there has to be a clandestine invitation. That is the reason the embassy in Liberia, the State Department, the White House, they're all remaining, and the eMansion are remaining mute. But if that is the case, then why is it leaking so much that something like 2 plastic bag in Liberia?
Then who was the Bob Woodward?
That is the problem. That's the problem. Because you will not ask Ambassador Mike McCarthy for him to say, he will not even speak on it. He will not deny nor confirm it.
You're not gonna hear anything.
Right? He will not deny or confirm it. So, and the eMansion website is not denying nor confirming it. So who in Liberia is
okay? So let me hold you to that point. And this is a kind of classical conversation that we always like to put in place here, despite of people political attachment affiliation. And I will be compelled. Let me bring in the dye here to provide a tutorial here for us and for our people. You heard say here, and I peruse, and this is why I didn't do it. And I did that on purpose. The liberal got in his little old liberal skin. He went into flame here. Thank God we didn't burn down here and our viewers. Like Sister said, elude, and anybody can check on it. If this is not published, who might have been the whistleblower in this whole thing? And if true, holding this information constant, should GOL speak to that? Or should the Ministry of Information speak to that? And when they are speaking, what language, what tone will we be listening to? That's another thing. And that's a struggle with these people. They're very difficult. And that's what happens. If you don't used to doing something, when the time comes for you to talk, then you struggle. It's like you're a public speaker. You should know your audience. You should know where to carry. This guy from Bombing the other day who were talking about snow. What kind of war are you? Yeah, look at that country. Yeah, man.
The physical morphology. I will never forget that. Physical morphology.
What could be the word? That one, will we say physical, or what kind of morphology we need to attach to it? So how should they do that?
We have, like, we call what they call terrain management, right? You have to know your audience. You have to know the terrain for which you're going to speak.
Actually, more, you're right. Who should we believe? I don't even know. I don't know. I have no idea.
Like the liberal can always say, let me borrow a word to that. No boys that put their foot in their mouth or their feet in their mouth. But, when it comes to sedition, how they handle information. Like on the side in the US, that we'll hear what they call classical information and declassical information.
Right.
But when it comes to Liberia, in fact, before the president was departed that day, you could see journalists reporting that the Secretary Press Secretary, the press team, they didn't want to report on the president's departure, the president's arrival, and they were reporting on the president was traveling to the UAE and then to the US, coming to America. So they were always ahead, but well, for some of our sources that we're hearing from our reliable sources, they say that the invitation before the Civil War in Liberia, the CIA have their intelligence in Liberia. And because of the war, they moved that intelligence to Senegal in Dakar. So when the CIA director visited Liberia some time ago, they make a arrangement, they want to see how best to bring the CIA intelligence back to Liberia. But now the question is, if you want to bring the intelligence back to Liberia, why will you come with all your Attorney General, your Justice Minister, your Defense Minister?
No, hold on one second. On that point, if there's some sort of correlation, then they are the intelligent community within our. You can't leave the Attorney General back.
Why our sitting president will be invited? It should be done from department of institution for institution. We have our NSA in Liberia. Our NSA is almost equivalent to that of the CIA. So we have our security apparatus. We have our national security, joint security, maybe headed by the Attorney General or the Defense Minister. So those are people who should be invited to the CIA camp. But why our president should be part of the discussion? That's a question I still try to.
Let me help you. Let me help you to answer that.
I'm coming to you, little bro, here because yesterday we gave you a bon arrivé, Frenchman say, and you decide not to continue that sort of bon arrivé we gave you. You came here, you started
because it wasn't genuine.
That's a bit. Why our president? Why?
Okay, liberal. Why the president?
Well, let me help you with this.
Yeah.
And for me, it's funny because it was speaking about the George Weah-led government as though the sophistication level in our government is so high, and that they will try to make or do things with reasonable understanding of what is happening. Most likely, and speculation, by the way, from on my part, but most likely, Carrasco probably too, thinking that it's a good thing. It's a good look at my president visiting CIA.
Oh my goodness.
Carrasco always bring these things up.
Yeah,
Carrasco always bringing these things up. So maybe that's how he got out. Maybe. But on a very serious note, maybe they didn't realize that visiting CIA is not something that you put on your forehead as a president of the Republic of Liberia or a president of any country or any government officials. Because
what's the first connotation about that, guys?
Because it's a spy agency. You go over there to do business with them. What are you going to do business with them to do what?
So let's lay this in perspective. And I wasn't done, because I was trying to say, let's assume this is correct. Let's lay this in perspective. By the way, according to a lot of information released by the CIA and over the times by the State Department, at every U.S. embassy, the attaches, the Department of Attaches, are usually staffed by CIA, NSA, and FBI agents. Everywhere. If you look at everywhere where there's been U.S. interaction with collecting surveillance and collecting data, it's the attaches. That's why you have military attaches and you got other attaches. Military attaches are the Defense Department, so that is the Defense Intelligence Unit that is there. So you have the CIA at every embassy, everywhere, along with the NSA, along with the Department of Defense, along with the FBI. That is why when vehicles were being stolen from here and taken to Liberia, the FBI was already on the ground to try to track those vehicles down. Okay? So let's move that aside and let's agree that, okay, maybe the CIA decided they were going to leave. There's no attaché in Liberia, they moved. When Liberia was ripe for collecting spy data during the Cold Wars, when we still had Omega Navigational Station, when we had the Voice of America, where the United States was using Omega Navigational Station as a spy satellite on the East African bloc, where the Russians were seen as a way they were getting into Africa. And you were using VOA as a way to send propaganda throughout Africa from Liberia. How many of our presidents during that time were officially, openly invited to the CIA when we had a value? So think about that now. Think about now that there is no more USSR. We have no value when it comes to intelligence for the United States, right? So what would be the value, the intelligence value for inviting the president to the headquarters of the CIA? That's number one. Number two, if there were data, if there were sensitive issues to be seen or to be discussed about CIA going back, wouldn't that have been done at the U.S. Embassy or with an ambassador going to the executive mansion, creating a safe room to have the conversation with the president? Are we saying that in Liberia there is no safe room where the president will have a conversation with the CIA representative in Liberia, that he has to be flown to America and taken to Langley, Virginia, in order to have a conversation with the CIA? There is a lot of things here that is not just, they're not just connected.
Go ahead, Doc, before I come in with my own speculation.
Right, just to add to what Sissy say, you know, there's so many speculation involved in the situation. Like I said, why would the president have or they have tapped out official with him? You know, you see the finance minister and all. Normally, the finance minister have been watching president. We are trading the I don't see Cyber 12 hours in back home, you know, but he part of the trip here. So there's so many to take into those take it. And then look at the State Department report just came out on Liberia, I think today or yesterday. Look at the human rights report on the country. It's just so bad under this government. So there's so many things to take on the data. You can go ahead or Libra.
Well, let me be ridiculous on this in my speculation here. And then I'm very good at that. So perhaps the president was invited and the CIA put a list of issues before him and said, these are the things we collected on you, and come and watch your video. Come and watch this other person doing that. We have all of these spy the video on you guys. So Mr. President, if I were you, I would say I'm not gonna don't seek re-election because we got too much on you. Number one. Second, and that's just a way extreme part of my speculation. The second speculation is this: money laundering. All of the drugs that have been coming into that country. And you know, sometime before the president became the president, there was some sort of a issue here in the United States with drugs and drug dealers, and the president being his name being mentioned. So all of these things are coming to play, and CIA is telling him, maybe you refuse to establish war crime court, but look what we got on you. So it's speculation.
Thank you, because you said it's ridiculous.
Yes, I said speculation. I've been saying it from day one. Speculation. So please don't hold me as though I'm reporting.
Because real quick, if the CIA has videos that the president is supposed to watch, the videos also playing in Liberia where they met him.
No, bringing him here and showing him. It becomes very, very serious.
But when you saw it in Liberia, at the executive mansion, it's supposed
to be. No, you show that over there, he will be too comfortable. You bring him here and show him.
I see.
Yeah, they had to be the war room. They had to bring the war room.
Real last quick thing. The CIA does not deal with law enforcement. The issue of drugs and other stuff, I would have understood if we were invited by the FBI, because the FBI still operates outside of the United States. The issue of drugs and other stuff and money laundering, that would have been under the purview directly of the FBI and the Secret Service. Because in America, it is the Secret Service and the FBI that investigate money laundering and drug stuff, not the CIA.
These people have no shame when it comes to asking you to do something for them. They have no shame.
Let me just add this: all our sister network on Spoon, what they got share Sako.
It's still Spoon here.
Yeah, I think it's Spoon.
Oh, okay, I thought when the other opponent left, it became
you know, Share Sako became a strong revelation other issue considered by the Russian connection with the president. You know, looking at the current situation with Russia and the US. So that's just a speculation also too.
I get you though, Dr. Toto, but what I don't understand is, do we really think that Sheikh Shakor have more intel on the president than the CIA?
No, I don't think so.
Let me be honest here, and probably Dr. Toto, your view. Let me just come in here. The Sheikh, what his name? What the other guy name? UG Fargon, and all of those people. Look, I don't really take into seriousness people who tries to be a victor at the expense of the victim, right? They all raise this alligator or crocodile we are having here today. They never stood on the side of the country Liberia until they were kicked out of the system for whatever reasons. I don't care to know that. And you saw Samuel Woolsey. Look, we need to stop dignifying some of these people. We listen to them and we don't even want to create a talking point, because this is where we need to start holding people accountable. If you have people that are gone, all those things, and I hope we're extending the invitation, because these people go out there, they say some things, and the facilitators of this network appeases them so much, they don't ask them, and you just see them flow in when they're supposed to be asking them in-depth questions. It's not happening, and this is really sad. It goes back to the issue of the Jim Vardio, Council of Vardio, the man who almost, if we are to equip it with the Truth and Reconciliation Commissions in South Africa, in our own standing, it's almost the same, because that was finding common ground. And they have become so much political. I am not saying they do not have their own political view, but they are setting capacity. When you find yourself, you got to be very careful what you put out there. This guy went on the public network and just throw garbage left over. No one that could pick up. How long has it been today? And the worst thing to say, he holding it onto his chest until what he claimed, right? Say a good government or real government. Are you kidding me? So what becomes of those who are going to be victim by you just holding fire with something? You're not in Liberia. If you don't want to give it to any Liberia media outlet because you don't trust them, we have Washington Post here. We have New York Times here. That's how sometimes people leak this classified information. To get those information off the share is something. But guess what? They didn't say anything. You see, UG Fagonet, it becomes like a wounded, like a renegade soldier. People who stood yesterday with torchlight, with flashlight, with electric light and everything, and were acting like when I look in my eye, it I mean born that baby. Defended this government. But all levels, because they did a political accommodation.
Let me just ask.
Not even apologize to the Liberian people for their action.
Let me ask a question just for my own learning, though, because I've been looking everywhere. Maybe I skipped it. I haven't seen it, and I want to put it out there. The information about the president coming to the CIA headquarters, has that been validated or disclosed by any official of the weird government? Because I haven't seen it. I'm looking for who's disclosing it, whether it is an official disclosure. Maybe I skip it.
I think front page carriers.
Front page, and I'm looking at who is the source of this site.
Well, Shafa say, do you know if
they're not gonna tell you who their sources are?
Okay, no. What I'm asking, the reason I'm asking is not that they're reporting on front page, is that was it an official communication, an official statement from the government that the president had been invited, or is this one of those things where there are source? And then the source talked to front page and front page.
It was an article written by the contributor.
Okay, thank you.
It's like, asking where's this going? When front page can grab a little story from Terry Genesee and all of those kind of things and take it and put it up there. And all of these things put the credibility of an institution, because even when you say this, it reminds me of the, you remember that video that came where they do that sort of animation and people are training this, that, and they post somebody. I can do that sort of creation. I too here can do it.
Yeah, even
where you don't know who is that news anchor, the institution he works for, the agency or news institution he's reporting for. So let's say this his contributor. So who is the author of this? Before it comes to a contributor to be a second or third party reporting that information, you must quote a name.
But it says here contributing writer.
From where?
What do you mean from where?
Yeah, so contributing writer from where?
From anywhere. It could be anybody. Contributing somebody who has been writing, publishing front page Africa before.
Freelancer? So where is
it? It could be. We're not going to go through that journalistic
we are
investigation process here. We're just saying something that has been written. So we're also asking you to read it and you make your own judgment. But don't try to at this point, Mr. So and of course I'm not that surprised because that's what you guys do. As a conservative, that's what you guys do. Because now you're trying to help. You're trying to make you're trying to make a judgment call on this article here, so that those perhaps believe in you will not even try to read it. And I think at this time we can't. As a liberal, I'm not going to let you do that.
And then also, Alfonso, we can do our own investigation also to see. Look at why the president coming to America at this time here. Even if the executive marshal or maybe can disclose a trip.
Is there a specific time for the president to come?
Yeah, give me I come in to that point. Look at let's go back to Madam Eddie Johnson said where Madam President will come and visit this country here. That's why she's not going to go to the White House, but her itinerary will be lined up. Who she going to meet and the purpose of visit, whether she come for medical leave or coming for special invitation visit, it will be air how people get to know it. But this President this trip he coming to America, the only thing we hear that the president is invited to America, which going to be no information. Assistants say that he's making research, no detailed information to say why the president coming to America at this time here. If he came for medical leave or check for a medical trip, and then why will you bring all? Is this a leisure trip or business trip? You bring all your top guys with you. There's something have to be in there, and that's what I want to know.
Dr. Toto, on eMansion website, it says as part of his engagement in both the U.S. and the UAE, the Liberian leader will meet with key U.S. government officials, Liberia's developmental partners, and will be investors. So the president is coming to meet with would be investors, development partners, and key U.S. officials as a way of.
So why are you guys not saying? Are you saying that key CIA is not part of the key government officials?
No, because when you look at the rim, you gotta look at you gotta look at the context. Everything else around that context. If you take out their key government officials, they are meeting with developmental partners and will be investors. So included in there, when you're talking about key government officials, you're talking about people who will be able to help the economy and the development piece. So
I think you're reading too much. You are reading too much.
Context.
You are reading too much. You're adding too much.
That is how people read context.
But you mean your own context. I mean, you're reading context. It seems like your addition to this context is more than anything else.
Anyway, by the way, but I'm going to answering Dr. Toto's question. Why is the president coming? eMansion said the president is coming to meet with key development partners and will be investors. The president is trying to jumpstart the Liberian economy. He's coming here to meet with people and convince them. That's why he's bringing Samuel Twe to talk about how inflation got dropped very high. The inflation dropped lower than the U.S. and how investors can go back to Liberia and invest, and how Liberia is a safe place to invest. So I hope.
Yeah. So look, I will respectfully disagree. I
think say you need to offer your services to the executive mansion perhaps to do some
stuff. So I will respectfully I will respectfully disagree with the DAI to say why at this time. I don't think there's a specific timeline for a country leader to visit any country for whatever reason. what we need to know, and these are some of the things when we start talking here, and then people that are liberal will say, oh, you have no business of saying this thing here, is there has been a tradition of all of our Liberian politicians, political oppositions, all of that. This has been missing for quite a while. But I do remember the day of Patrick Cummings, C. Alenzon Kape, the late Gaswa Yamento, when the leader is traveling, they don't leave the country in doubt. They don't allow speculations to kick in and for people to fill in the vacuum with their own theories and conspiracies and all of that. They try to get to these media outlets and set the agenda. Depending on the nature of the trip, of the president visit, there's some other information, of course, you can throw out there, but there's a specific language tone as to how you curve this thing here and put that condensed release, which will be inclusive and is left with people to talk about. But then at the end of the day, the president will come and say, oh, this is XYZ happening. That has not been the traditions of lately, especially with this government. And that goes even to the opposition leaders. That's why it's important, all of these people, they need to start having effective communicator who will not create, allow the public to fill in the gap because they are not providing all with information. It could be like a release. Now said they're trying to do some stuff, but sometimes, oh, the president traveling. You don't even know that. In fact, I was listening to this guy here, the Focus on Africa reporter, before Solo Kebwe, own friend and brothers, and start naming it. If president trip is a planned trip, I know some of it can be like abroad because the nature of it, but they should be able to come ahead. Look, associated the president of the Republic of Liberia, the head of XYZ delegation, they can go. I understand when presidents come in, Dr. Toto, it's very much important the delegations of the government. When they come, I'm not talking about having photo shoot and things all over the place. When you come in like maritime commissioners, there are tons, over 4,000 vessels flying the flag of Liberia. All right, you have the foreign minister. The foreign minister is the doyen of the diplomatic corps. He there to meet other, depending on the nature. You got to bring some key people based on the nature of that, so that not just only stick behind the president, but they must be able to have that interaction with their counterpart to see what sort of dividends going to come to the country. But here we are, front page, throw this out. How many hours now today? How many hours since the thing came? Since the whole thing came out? Contributor, writer, or whatever, freelance, or whatever the case, we are not getting anything. The government is not speaking. You look on the embassy website, you're not seeing anything. However, well, there is a smoke. There's a fire. But the question on who gonna break this news as to whether indeed, yes, the president was invited by CIA, and if that was the case, journalists will ask, what's going on here? Like the liberal said, is that an arm? Are they having sort of these security, different conversation with respect to the elections ahead? And say, yes, the dissolutions of the Soviet Union has been years, decades or so. So time has also involved. But yeah, we see Soviet, the Russians, in trying to recap or remake to see whether they can go, see what is going on now, how many times now. I don't think that is that much. Another thing is we look at Burkina Faso of Islamic fundamentalist group. It's also on the rise there. You look at Sudan, they're far from Liberia. Is America not concerned because they took their eye off the ball and one of their stepson or daughter could be a target point? We don't know. So there are a variety of components here. If we were to put this into to streamline it, they're like, but the question now becomes, who will let it out of the bag? Who you think? Do you think the government going to speak on it, or the Uncle Sam going to be the first to come out?
No one. They're both going to be silent on this, and they will allow us to speculate as much as we want. None of these people will come and talk about what they're even if it is true. Even if it is true that president we have visited the CIA, they're not going to mention it. They're not going to talk about it.
Should the government, but should they admit and not talk about it, or just leave it as it is?
They're not going to even mention whether it's true or not. They're just going to leave it like that.
Sister, good strategy. Just leave it and we'll talk about it and let it go.
I'm going to quote one of our viewers right now. Making to all. I watched that video today. Making to all.
Somebody said that.
Oh, and when Costa said making to all, but he went on to talk all the things that men are supposed to talk. So making to all, I just say that.
I think also to your photo.
Eduardo, make it or counter or something, my man.
But the president, this is the U.S., right? But the president enter here, maybe they change it, but they will post on the app because he will be closer monitor, and he will be further when he enter the U.S. So wherever he goes, I mean, he will be followed. So we will get some information when the president entered the U.S.
We will get.
I think, Mr. So, you struck a point, right? When a government has not been used to being proactive with information, then you create a room for gossip to fill the void. In this situation, there is not going to be a way to either validate or disprove Front Page Africa's reporting. There's not going to be a way, because where you're going to go to get a validation or to say that it's a lie. The president is going to come to the United States. He's going to meet with officials of government. He's done that so many times. He did that at the General Assembly when he came here. He did that after that when he went to his home where he met with. Is the dog still here or is gone to LeBron? Anyway,
the dog stay here.
So where he had that, right? So the CIA is not going to speak on that issue. They're neither going to deny nor confirm. Mike McCarthy is not going to deny or confirm. The White House is not going to deny or confirm. The Liberian government, I think responsibly, has not posted this on eMansion website. Therefore, I do not think that any official of government, whether the defense minister or the minister of justice who has the Joint Security Commission or the president, I don't think any one of those people are going to speak on that issue, either denying or confirming it. So where do you go? I think, though, if this is true, that the president has been invited to the CIA headquarters, I think whoever leaked this information is a novice. And I will agree with the liberal to say it might have been somebody just thinking that this is a moral thing to put out there. Like when our boy got drunk one day and said he was writing all the speeches of the president, and then he ended up firing. He went back to Texas to go do his job, the first manner. Or when my own brother from Lofakante decided to talk drunk talk and talk about all the things George Weah were doing. If this is true, then somebody who should not have access to classified information had access to it and talked about it in Boston, which is really sad. And I think if this is true, that the president was invited to CIA's headquarters and is out in the news, the CIA, the American government are going to think twice and very critically about how they deal with the Liberian government, even in sharing sensitive information.
Classified information, exactly. Because without us even knowing what the nature, like what you said, everything has already been declassified. And
so then say you will admit that the liberal intuition, the liberal ability to speak truth, it's on the mark. Will you admit that?
No, I just say you beat for Uncle Alasco. I don't want to call Alasco name because I want to go liberal too. I want to be impeached. Just how you went in Kimba. I want to call Alasco name.
So, okay, let's pick up some concern here with our viewers, our listeners, and we value their comments, whether we agree or disagree. Vincent K. Baxter say, what is the importance of the information minister on this trip? Wow. Vince, I can tell you, when the president of the Republic of Liberia travels, even outside of the nation capital, to the suburbs of Monrovia or outside of Monrovia, the Minister of Information should be part of that delegation. The Minister of Information is the chief recorder.
We got Carrasco. What are you talking about, Mr. So?
I'm talking about people who
Well, I mean, you can't do that because Kalasco has been. I mean, even though they have not announced it,
let's take a quick commercial break. I want to get
it's irrelevant. The administration is irrelevant.
Exactly. They got Kalasco who's running everything. I mean, why you want to leave him behind?
You don't need information ministry in Liberia again.
Can we take a quick commercial break? So we'll be back, please. Isovicana is getting dry.
Yeah, me drink some water.
Welcome to Fiber King of Woodland. Everyone that's looking for a nice African for wedding, whatever fiber you need, you can just come over here. You have all this nice stuff. If you need ashebi, you guys can come over here for baby shower, for wedding. You guys are welcome. She had really nice stuff. You can see all over there, all those men over here. You don't have to go to the theater and then they're going to be telling you all kind of stories. You can just come here. They're already made. And for ladies, you can just look for whatever fiber you're looking for and match it for the men. And, your husband already have a shirt made. You can get stuff for your kids. You can get stuff for the whole family. We have African slippers and ashobi hand ties all over. We have different...
This is the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. We say good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to all our viewers and listeners here. Guys, let's pivot here. We'll put a number out here and see what our folks think about that as well to get their reaction. This is almost like a mystery thing, so it's just hard to get a source and who the source you're going to quote. But folk writing, we're not saying no picture, and this is what people are doing because people are accustomed to saying these things. So if they're not happening, that's which of course is a good argument. Okay, what next here? The Liberal, you brought this whole red meat. I intend because I was still trying to peruse to go through this whole thing here to know the author, the source of this whole thing. It's fun to see the connection, but we know that. There's a general statement came from the executive mansion, which sort of condenses everything that you can also tie in with this. But I'm waiting to see what really going to happen. And I'm not sure what we're going to get a clear-cut information here. National Election Commission. Is it anybody want to say something?
I want to read. I want to again from Front Page Africa. I got it. I mean that's my gospel. And you can say whatever you want to say, but that's my gospel. But I want to read something about this. They say U.S. State Department, U.S. Department, 2022 Human Rights Report on Liberia, captured report of extrajudicial killing, cruel punishment by the government. But this is what I want to read. They said. Okay, so there was the U.S. State Department in its 2022 Human Rights Report says there were several reports that the government of Liberia or its agents committed arbitrary or unlawful killing. This is coming from United States Department of State. That is saying something about the human rights report.
But keep reading, though. There's a sentence below there that tells you exactly what they think.
Okay. So the report, significant human rights issue. Is that what you mean?
Significant. Yeah, they're reporting that even though it's in the news, they haven't validated that.
No, hold on. Significant human rights issue include credible report of unlawful or arbitrary killing, including extrajudicial killing, cruel, inhuman, inhumane, or degrading treatment or punishment by the government. Blah blah. What are you talking about here? Read that.
one second, I'm trying to put that up because somebody sent that to me and I read it today too. And if you look at it, capture and says
the report captured two incident where police killed unarmed civilian. One of the incident occurred on June 13, 2022, where police killed Rufus. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, but it also talks about the actions that were taken by government. When the police committed crime, they were disrobed and actions were taken.
Fine, they've been doing it and they're always reporting it. But there's nothing here. I've not seen where the State Department trying to distance themselves from this report.
Oh no, I didn't say they distance themselves from it. No, I said they were listing in there their reports in local medias that of these extrajudicial killing. They're giving their source. They're not saying that it's been verified. Because if you read that, it said there have been reports of this extrajudicial killing. They're not like they verify that there was this extrajudicial.
But when was the last time you saw in the State Department report where it comes out to say we have verified X, Y, and Z? They don't do that.
Hey, I'm just saying why I didn't see. I didn't say what is conventional.
Okay, for some reason tonight, I might accuse you of being undercover sedition.
Well, you don't know the president in America. You think when I think my money that I ain't making money no more on my own.
You were in Liberia. You didn't say friend. You can't hear now. Your mouth cha.
The liberal in total.
No man, the bro, I was in total.
You know what the man say? You commissioner of a town. How you can be commissioner of a town? Not a township, but you commissioner, what commissioner have? Then you say commissioner of total.
Power to we abuse the power to in the country. So, guys, let's. Okay, folks, the number is out there. The microphone here is open to.
Let divert the topic a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, somebody was calling, but I don't know why it went. Yeah. Go ahead. While I wait for the call.
The liberal, based on certain point, when it comes to the opposition, also too. Look at what happened in the Unity Party with Henry Costa, Saga again.
Were you here yesterday?
No.
Okay, carry on. You will get your own today. Go ahead.
I mean, it just I don't know where this sports according to our new census report that just came out,
the person I'm picking up.
we can lay on a good path, So is it going to be on George we are next turn again? Because the opposition, they're fighting to get the ANC people. They want to see the Unity Party people, and the Unity Party people has had their own Aaron Costa to look out on your podcast. Somebody was saying about Ambassador Boyka, so the whole it just complete disarray. I don't know how this small country like Liberia already survive.
Okay, how the country Liberia survive? Let's go to the caller. Caller, good evening.
Hey, hello, Mr. So, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. This is Nancy Amos. Nice to hear your voice again. I don't know. I don't get a notification like before.
So you need to. What happens sometimes? Even you won't believe. Sometimes when you play with that, if it trickles on my side here, you won't even believe. Who also send the link out. So sometimes you gotta get back to. Yeah, you hear me now?
Hello.
Yeah, caller 763. Hold on. So and this goes out to everybody. For if at all you lose track of the notification, just go back to even the video now. I'll let you play it. You're gonna see the bell sound. Tap on that belt. There will be a drop down and click all notification. When it goes to suggested notification, then it becomes so selected. Wow, the number everybody has it. So you hold on here, guys. Let's hear from our people this evening here. A lot of
they love the liberal. The liberal is back.
Okay.
Express your love for the liberal.
The live video that playing on the video, you click on it and then look for the option that says all notification. My goodness, the phone is blazing. So let me pull all of these people here, guys. Please be there with me. And then we will.
I just want to say that here we are right now. So we'll continue to observe the situation.
Okay, so hold on 1 second. Let's do it 1 minute each, please. About 5 persons on the line here. Just hold on. Okay, Mike, go ahead. And then for now, go to 763-5433 number. Mike, go ahead. What's your thought?
Yeah, what I'm saying is that where we are now, we can't talk all, man. Can't talk all. So never probably there, I told him he left on total. They are going to report about the Burkina Faso. I know he can't talk all. I'll do my own case because I'm like, give me and check that in, you know. But thank you so much for the analysis, my brother. Kia, right? I think Kia or Gita, is that? I'm not pronouncing you right? But yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. The Bongo man here, but I don't think you see it there. You can't afford to sell a big stuff. I know. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow. The Friday liberal naive. If you to talk about Burkina Faso in here, play there, then he can't hear you. One can't talk about. Okay, thank you so much, Maki. Let's go to this number here, guys. If you're not speaking, please just mute your phone. We're getting a lot of background noise, please. Let's go to number 763, number 5433. Caller, good evening.
Good evening, Alfonso. So this is, and let me say good evening also to your panelists. This is Pastor Gerald Cummins.
Gerald Cummins. Ooh, I think. I'm considering you to make you the last here. Do you have an in-depth on this stuff here? Can you?
No, I'll wait. Go ahead.
Please wait here because you did some great interviews. Let's see whether we're going to get some prediction here. So just hold your peace. Let me go to 832 number 1441. 832-1441. Are you there?
Yeah, hey, Mr. So, how you doing? This is Ambrose. Mr. Toto.
Thank you so much. Welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Toto. Hey, yeah. Mr. So, how you doing? And how are you to the panelists? Mr. Toto, I'll now have the opportunity to take a picture with you when you're here, Saturday. But if reason I call,
Mr. So, could you please tell the caller that it is Dr. Toto and not Mr. Toto, please?
Okay, Dr. Toto.
Dr. Toto get charged for pictures, if you didn't know.
Dr. Toto, you know, I was excited to meet you, but but it's okay. But that's already past and gone. But I think today was a good day because the president did went to the CIA head office, and I think what we're missing here, America can arrest anybody, a war leader in America. They got to issue a warrant for your arrest or something, and I think a lot of warlords need to be really having sleeping nights because there's so many things that can be in that visit to the CIA office. But I know everybody can spin it the way they want to spin it. And
so, hold on 1 second. First, we never talk about president being arrested. That would
nobody. So the way Session was saying it, and the gentleman in California was saying it, like it was the person would be arrested, like he was making it sound like he was in trouble.
Well, anyway, that's your opinion, but I just want to point that out. Nobody said that. We all were just trying to figure out. But did I hear you saying the president went to the CIA office today?
Yeah, he did visit the CIA head office in Virginia. He did went there
today.
Because, today, my friend.
Where are you getting that? Where are you getting that confirmation from?
Because I have a friend with the delegate.
You have a friend with the delegate travel with the president?
Yes.
And that friend confirmed that to you? Is that what you're saying?
Was the friend at the CIA headquarters also with the president?
I'm not going to say that. Just say the president went there. You'll surprised when he get back, and everybody that we put with him.
Is that Ambrose?
Yeah, this is Ambrose.
So, Ambrose, what I'm asking here, nobody wants to question what you're saying, but I'm asking that individual, the person travels with the president to the United States, was one of the members of the delegation?
Yes.
And they confirmed that they were, the president visited the CIA office today, correct?
I only asked them why they were in Washington, D.C. for because with friends, and they said, they had a lot of stuff, and the president was able to go visit the CIA head office.
Was that person Carrasco?
I'm friendly with Carrasco, but it was not Carrasco.
They are in Washington, D.C., and the person confirmed that they were able to go to the CIA office. Do they know that the CIA office is in Langley, Virginia, and not in Washington, D.C.?
because he was lost. He lost. Washington D.C. Washington D.C. They have
why are you trying to split hair tonight on these things?
Working Washington D.C.
Okay. There's this simple fact.
Ambrose, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me go. Anything other thing to say? 30 seconds.
Yeah, something else I wanted to talk about.
You don't remember.
I'll just get off.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I'll think of. Okay, thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. Wow. 763 number 7242. Are you there?
Yeah, it's Elvis.
Yeah, Elvis, go ahead quickly. Control Island. Oh, did I put Jerome on? Or Cummins, you still there?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought I mistakenly dropped you. Okay, Elvis, go ahead quickly.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr.
Let's hear from you.
So, yeah, I think, we are speculating why the president came to the CIA office in the United States. But as we know, the CIA is not allowed to operate in the United States. They have offices, but they're not allowed to do any kind of operation in the United States. They're only for international intelligence gathering. But just to say, like some people said, there's a lot of things happening in our sub-region that may affect our country. I think somebody touched on it. The whole thing with, the Burkinabes coming, infiltrating into our country. We've had some international shipments of guns, international shipments of drugs. So a lot of things is happening on the continent. And, the CIA has had a historic relationship with Liberia. They had their office there in White Plains, not in White Plains, but they had an office there before the war. So there's a lot of good things that could come out of this. You look at Egypt, for example. Egypt gets almost $2 billion in military intelligence aid every year from the United States. So when you have a symbiotic relationship with the United States when it comes to information gathering, that could be beneficial for our country. But this whole thing when it leak out, this is not a covert. The president is not a CIA agent where everything got to be on a cover of the city, go on a mission, and nobody's supposed to know about it. So while a president is doing something for another country, it's all right to know. It's not like you're working for the CIA where you shouldn't know when you're in America. And then quickly, before I get the line, that whole thing with JMD and Henry Costa, I mean, it's laughable. I would just say that to Mr. Soto to get on his skin because I know he loves Henry Costa and JMD. But Henry Costa being vice president of Liberia, can you imagine? Can you imagine? So I'll just leave it there, but that's the only thing I think.
That thing you coming to speak for the Liberian government as a spokesperson for the Liberian government, just leave it like that. Leave my Pigin Costa and leave my old man, Dr. Waka, please.
Will you please give my call out some protection here, please? Okay, let me come home stay here. 401 number 0941.
Good evening, brother. How you doing, Mr. So? Yes, Ojigu Empire.
Okay, welcome to the show. Good evening.
Yeah. All right. Good evening, sir. Good evening to your panelists there. What I want to say, one good thing we Liberian, we are very good at spreading something that we do not know of and something we have no knowledge about. Is the president is being invited here by the CIA. Whatsoever he came for, we're going to know. Trust me. For his action, if the president went back and started to take some, drastic action home, then we're going to know what happened here. So if he came here to meet investor or other business tycoon, if he went back and other people start going in the country, like other airlines start going, people start going, then we know what the president gave us. So let us not worry about that. But I just want to tell every Liberian, no matter who Costa is, okay, there is nothing in our constitution that has to do with how a vice president should be. Educationally, selection is strictly by the presidential candidate sole responsibility. Whosoever he chooses or he wants to run with, that's a prerogative. So if the man see that this man is older, if you see I need somebody to bring stamina to my ticket, that's okay. Costa has everything to be a vice president. A vice president should be somebody who can go all here and there. He's made it smart, he can articulate, And you may not look at him personally. Joy comes with responsibility. Any other can change. Maybe when a man get that kind of joy, he can change his life. And he can be somebody good. Because why? He can talk. You need somebody to tell you all that. Just be his corner. He can't be coming to the meeting there, pushing things through with any kind of progressive body all around town. Take, for example, in South Africa. Look at Malema. Look at Malema. The South African government overlooking a shutdown meeting today. Look on the street of Soweto today. And they shook the government. And he had a very peaceful demonstration in the history of South Africa. So never you underestimate any man. We should not look at your talk show. Maybe the woman is looking at somebody who will be a perfect man, who will articulate his dream, who will satisfy all that thoroughly. So I don't see any problem. Costa is educated. He's a Liberian, born Liberian. So he can be anybody. So nobody should downplay the brother, and the brother got to follow up. And they make him talk.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brother Sue, and you're doing a good job.
Thank you so much.
But for our present issue, we get to know. We get to know.
All right.
Brother
All right,
So
thank you, brother.
Brother So can talk too.
I really want to meet with you in person, man. I really want to meet with you in person.
Who, me?
Me.
Yeah, you, because both of us live in the state here.
Oh, okay. I hope you don't bring it for the.
Oh, no, man. I will pass you, Mr. Brother. I want to really meet you, man. All right.
Call me. It's important that we meet as well.
All right, I will do so. I will do so, brother. Okay, then.
I just
All right,
get it.
bye.
Don't take that for anything.
No. I know that. I know. All right, bye-bye.
All right. So 614, and then we'll go to our last caller comments. 614 number 0289. Koto, good evening, welcome. Let's hear from you quickly at 614 number. Where are you calling from? What's your name?
I'm Claudius Diaz Dixon, calling from Ohio, Columbus.
Columbus, Ohio. Let's hear from you. How Columbus is doing this evening, by the way?
Oh, Columbus is cool and very, very much cool. We have a very good weather here.
Great. Okay, let's hear from you. What's concerning to you? If you don't want to talk to what we're talking about here, it's up to you. Let's just hear your side of the issue all going on in Liberia.
You know, there are a lot of issues on my mind concerning the president's visit to the U.S. Time like this, we are seeing a lot of pictures floating on the internet. The president meeting with this person, the president is doing this. Even the president eating, we see the president eating all. But this time around, we can't see any picture. We don't know what's going on with our president. And it's surprising to some of us because for the president to be invited to CIA is very, very, very alarming. But let me drift away a little bit from that discussion. We know when something comes out at the end of the day, we'll still get the information. But for the brother to call and start to denigrate Henry Costa and saying that if Joseph Walker did Henry Costa as vice president, where our country going? Well, the young man was when the people pull one unsophisticated man by the name of George, we have to be president, who cannot even step around just speak to anybody off here. That man can't even do it. There will be no coherence in what he's saying. And you look at educated man, sophisticated Henry Costa to be a vice president, and you're saying where our country going? That's what I front to that young man. That young man has done well for that country. He has contributed immensely to that country. Of course, I'll be a vice president today. But the last time people say around here, even the comments say around here that vice president position was not important, so they won't be president. Why people fighting for vice president position today? Why people asking for vice president? I think Henry Costa is very qualified, well educated, and we can have a judge. We got to be the first citizen of that country. Henry Costa is very a judge. We are 100 times. That's my own contribution.
Thank you so much. And we want to say to all our viewers and followers, concerns and comments here does not in any way represent the views of the Liberia Public Radio, but we do facilitate some of these high and uncomfortable here. So, Gerard Cummings.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for being so patient. I'm going to bring you in here, but I'm already scratching my head. I'm worried because potentially, from one of the callers, something seems to be declassified for a member, according to him, who was a delegation of the government of Liberia, to have a conversation with a relative, with a friend, to tell us, to say that this is what is happening now. I think there's a much deeper conversation than what we just got. This is unbelievable. Let me hear from you.
The first thing I want to say to Mr. let me say, well, And you know, the crew people got a saying, they say, then and a kaji, a man and a weji. The man came from Toaston, he stayed incommunicado. Probably he stayed in the state of Utopia, but we're waiting to hear. I've been to Toaston once, so I wait to see what we're going to hear from the Labor Progressive. But Mr. So, I was scratching my head when I listened to the guy who was talking that he got an info from a relative and he don't even know the location of the CIA headquarters. I was scratching my head. 2, let's go back a little bit. 1990, between 1990 and 1991, Ambassador Emmett Cohen was he was somewhere in Dalali, I think Ocha Stadium, making an arrangement. It was not a CIA boss, making an arrangement for a safe corridor for President Doe to leave to Freetown. That was not a CIA operation. This was an ambassador. And you expect at that time, security was on a high alert. Fast forward, during the Amos Sawyer term, you recall that there was a captain, I think a captain or so, who got killed in a hotel in Mama Point, a U.S. Marine that got killed. We didn't see the CIA calling the then interim government or calling the head of the security sector in our country. Those things we heard it, but it was not public. We don't know what was going on. President Weir coming to the CIA, as far as back as my memory served me right, from the days of Charles Taylor to the days of Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf or Sawyer or David Pamapo or Ruth Sano Perry or the interim presidents, I haven't seen anything like that. I haven't read anything like that. But let's look what is unfolding in our country today. It speaks volume. It speaks volume that whether they're coming, like somebody said earlier on, maybe they're trying to rejuvenate or reawakening the cooperation between the Liberian government and that of the U.S. government in terms of the security sector. That is something I still need to wrap my hands around. Until the president leaves and return home, we may not know. Like you said, I think someone said, people may be speculating now. But until he returns, we'll not know. Because I never heard something from the U.S. ambassador, neither from the custodian of government dissemination information in Liberia, the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism. We didn't hear anything. So it's like we are all speculating, why is he here? We go back to previous arrangement, governments, when we had all kind of stuff, including U.S. citizens who got killed. We didn't see this force from, this kind of invitation from the FBI. In fact, go back to the 5 Khaled Nom situation. We didn't see this investigation, or invitation. So it's just like, it's something going on. Either maybe let's look at what transpiring in Burkina Faso with Russia, China, Congo, Russia, China, Mali. Now Chad is on the list now. So something is going on security-wise that we may not know. But looking at what's been transpiring, unfolding in the country, there's something in the pipeline. If you go back and listen to Emmett Cohen very well, there's something in the pipeline.
Okay, before I let you go here, we are already, you long been behind this microphone in this business as well. Put the cap on the head. What is your top process? If and only if we are hearing now that the president is being invited to the biggest intelligent house, I would say to the world, where to the gathers and pull and get this thing here. If this is true, and if it's only true, why do you think that is? And will we get to know anything? Quickly,
well, I want to believe so. Let's look at where
people in government being challenging the authenticity of some of the reports, the report linking people in his inner circle to rampant corruption. The issue of him playing some ball games with alleged drugs dealers and black people running doing money laundering. All these things we must take them into consideration. That look, come what may, there is something. There is something, because if you listen to the Solicitor General, he cleared, former Solicitor General, he clearly stated that most of these things are fallacy. They were challenging the U.S. government, including some of their propagandists. So there's something behind this. There's something in the pipeline. But like you know, I always say, I always show up months before the 7th month, right?
Yes.
Hello, Mr. Soul?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Go ahead quickly.
You know, I always show up before the 7th month. The last time we talked about election, I told you watch the 7th month, right?
Yeah.
So you watch the 7th month. All these things about vice presidential candidate, political party, I say to you, watch the 7th month.
Watch the 7th month.
The
Please
narrative will play very well.
I will reach out to you. Watch the 7 months. Let's note some of the recipe and the detail of that 7 months. You did a prediction 2017. Let's see whether there will be a new prediction with the 7 month here. Please make time for us. Let's have that national conversation. Legendary comments. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we wrap up the phone calls for the day. Koto Jala Balayant. Good evening. Welcome. It's better late than never. You're still in the fries. So, guys, you're listening to everything. In the next 15 minutes, we're going to be out of here. I'm just not sure what is the biggest takeaway, Koto. I don't know what I guess you've been monitoring. Sissy, you listen to all of the callers. Let's get a pick from the callers. Dr. Toto, the liberal progressive. So, Archie here now is trying to be like, where he come from with Rush Limbaugh business here? This, but yeah, you know, lying though.
The members said when St. Patrick together, he picking for me. That my own St. Patrick brother, they're picking for me. That also.
But the microphone too. I almost said that. I try to figure out whether our Bill Cunningham.
Okay, I come in for the former spoon people. They will tell me how to break away from your platform, and you will see.
Okay, let's leave that topic. We want spoon to break it. Okay, guys, you're listening to the callers, but I'm concerned the idea of a friend to disclose to a relative, even taking of his word based on he has no reason to lie to pull that out, then that's a serious concern. So then we will know, whatever the case. I don't take anything lightly. But let me start with you, Dr. Toto. You heard callers with different views, opinion. What's your reaction?
Yeah, that's the quarter that broke the ice about the president with the CIA. You know, I mean, those are things that's what this new or so this speech, especially when the president traveling abroad, he travel with a lot of people, you know, relatives. Sometimes people disclose the information, you know, you see it out.
Should that happen?
Yeah, so that you see the thing.
No, I mean, I know. I say, is that something that's supposed to happen? It's
supposed to happen. I don't see no secret should be behind the trip. I said maybe because it's attached with the CIA and want to make it to be like a secret trip. I don't think it's any secret. You know, the information. Maybe he has an opportunity to get hold of the information from his relative. You know, so I don't think anything classified by the Tribune now because the information is already out there. You know, for the president, even from Liberia coming up, if anything was so be classified information, it would not be put on the media first once the president coming to America with all the type of huge delegation. So there's nothing classified as to all of one thing the other quarters here that we can take away from normally when the president travel America, you see even the day he arrive, you see picture flowing almost social media, especially the citizen want to show some spend. And when you see pictures or error, you know, president taking picture of this other tribute, it's just so unique. We don't see no picture, the president who he meeting taking pictures and things. So there's only you do that about the tribute. Another good point, the color race.
Well, okay. Let's hear from the South guy, the liberal. You listen to all of the callers. Anybody?
Yeah, the only thing I can tell out of that one is that man who can't I want to be spokesperson for apparently want to take a Carrasco job, and then he stopped there. Then can put more on Costa and my papi. That's something I would take kindly up. So let him stay away from us. Let him go ahead and be the spokesperson for take Carrasco's job, and we will do our own thing on the side. But thank you for the show.
They're not a business, eh?
They're not a business.
Wow, this is unbelievable. We're in trouble in our country. The people that Samson told to be in the minister of government, my goodness.
Costa will be vice president. I will be deputy. Deputy to what? I don't know yet, but I will be deputy.
The man goes to Africa, deputy vice president.
First deputy vice president. Okay, Sissy, I'm just allowing Koto to settle down. Too much of drama being unfolding. So, Sissy, you listen to all of the callers. Do they have an argument?
Well, everybody have an argument. Is it viable? That would be the question. So, look, in our Liberian situation, sometimes we elevate conversations and we create conversations to fill in void to show that we are connected, when sometimes we're not so deeply connected. Would somebody on a presidential delegation to Langley, Virginia, tell you, yeah, was here, the president went to meet with the CIA, but when you ask him, he will not tell you whether the person was on a delegation. So which one is more sacred? That the person was on a delegation or that the president went to the CIA offices? And then that they were talking about in Washington, D.C., when the CIA offices is not even in Washington, D.C. I'm a mathematician. I deal with patterns. The patterns don't line up, I discard it. I think that is just another tabata, and I'm going to call it as it is. But I like the last caller. I really like that dude. He laid out things in historical details followed by evidence and facts. And I was so enjoying it. I was sad when you cut him out. I hope he would have stayed on for longer, because those are people who laid out issues absent of their emotions, but with facts and a chronology that makes sense. So my brother, if you're still listening, you warm my heart. I was listening to you and I was just smiling inside. Now,
Kwame is a legendary broadcaster. He's been behind the microphone. He knows the history in depth of Liberia. Anyways.
Now, having said that, I will put my more in something that I'm a baby.
Oh Lord.
I call it to block you. Look, every Liberian citizen that meets the statutory guideline, the constitutional guidelines for contesting to be president or vice president of the Republic of Liberia is qualified constitutionally to contest, meeting constitutional requirements and being a competent leader. Two different things. It's a valley. Matter of fact, there's a rift valley between them. Henry Costa, I will go to the Supreme Court to defend his right to be vice president or even run to be president. He meets the qualifications as stated in the Constitution. But I would just say this, if the Unity Party wants to have that conversation, maybe it'll be another day. I watched the podcast. Man can say, oh, but your wife ugly. Man can say, oh, but your wife told me say she cheating on you. Man can say, oh, then what else man can say now? You say man can say, oh, but everything else out. And the temperament exhibited today on their podcast. We'll have that conversation on a different day. But I would say that it is Henry Costa's right. It is his birthrights guaranteed in the Constitution that he's reached the age and he can be vice president of the Republic of Liberia. I don't think that should be a conversation. We can talk about temperament. We can talk about every other thing and see what the readiness is. But he does check the box for meeting the qualification to be vice president. And I hope if Joseph Yuma Boaka thinks he's the right person to pick him, and then we have a conversation about that.
Let's follow. Okay. The roof is none to the or he who endures to the end. Koto Jalat Balayan, you've been listening extensively. You're taking note. Are you communicating with the ambassador?
Yes.
They're sending you some messages and then
yes. Thank you very much, Mr. So. Is it better late than never?
Right.
Yeah, thank you guys. And I was in the background. Unfortunately, I could not get on at the time. I don't know, something wrong with my machine today. Or kind of slow for me to join you guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but however, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, my key topics actually I wanted to talk on is like Gerald Kumi and Sissy, just, I probably grip it out of my mouth. I was looking at my paper that I was jotting down my points. In our time, like for the little one I know, for the little time I've been living in Liberia, I haven't heard of the CID calling on the CIA calling on the president of Liberia. What I do know is the CIA getting involved into the government, and what I have seen it led to. Only that I know of. I remember when the CIA got involved into the Turbo administration. We know what it led to. It led to the death of Turbo. When they also came with the involvement of the CIA, using Charles Taylor at the time, we know what it led to. It led to the death of Samuel Kanya Doe. And looking at the history of what have transpired in our country, when the CIA raises its antenna on your country, it means a lot. And for me, I think it's not something that we can overlook. I hope this time around it will change and history will not repeat itself. And with the Costa issue, since I came late, I don't want to take much of your time. Me, I can look for my own trouble, and I don't care. I'm not scared of being in trouble.
Oh, you get in trouble?
I'm looking for it tonight.
From whom?
Say it.
Look, the thing about being a leader, it takes maturity to be a leader. It's just not anybody can be a leader. If that was the case, some of us would be jumping, and coming to say we want to be the head. It is true that I support our former VP Boakai, but I would not sit here now to tell you guys that I would actually support Costa becoming VP now. And you guys will ask me why. My reason is, sometimes ago I liked Costa, and don't prove me wrong. But when it comes to leadership, Costa have not reached that maturity level. He can be senator, yes. Like he go there, he will get his maturity from there.
The city yourself about Joe will go become senator and representative for us.
But again, he did not grow from there. Okay.
Did you watch that podcast today? Did you watch Costa podcast today?
You could see his demeanor. You could see his attitude and becoming a leader.
You should watch that podcast today. That have a different point of view.
But people wait in their flesh.
That is not.
Let her make her point.
That's what they gotta do. Costa strong, man. Costa be the VP.
Look, it takes tolerance to become a leader, and that is the mistake we continue to make. It's not because I like Costa. You guys were here the other day, and and we all talk, and I told him, you know, I can support you to become a senator. But there is certain area I can be friendly with you. I will not let you go there because I don't appreciate you there. You will not function well there. And that's one of my points for me. I'm racing. I don't think he will function well there as compared to being in the Senate like he wants to be or being a representative.
Why you
that's his team, and that's my view, my personal view. It is left for VP Barker to choose him. That's his prerogative. And that will not stop me from supporting him. But I am seeing the danger ahead.
So, Koto, you know, here, just how we hold our callers, we also hold one another accountable.
I'm here accountable for whatever I say here.
Quickly here, let me hear you. Is there a risk involved if Ambassador Boyka picks him today as a VP? Is there any risk in that?
Yes. From what I see, from who I have been seeing Costa to be. And I can, for me, when I deal with somebody for a certain length of time, I just not looking at you, you know, physically. I'm looking at you from your demeanor, your attitude, everything about you. And becoming a president or even vice president, when you are a vice president, anytime you can be in a position to replace the president and do things on behalf of the president.
All right.
You cannot go as a president and be displaying or behaving like that. It does not represent a president material or a vice president material. I'm speaking in my own right.
Gentlemen.
That's why I say I'm coming to cause my own trouble. I know latches going to come at me, but it is me. You know, I want to take that. Little bullets and things. I love it. I like Costa. I love it. He has gift there. Une, if he takes his gift to some level and control his demeanor in any issues.
So what we intend to do here to hold ourselves accountable as well, and part of that comes with time factor. So we're going to leave here, but trust me, this conversation continues right here. All things considered, going to be here tomorrow. In 30 seconds each, let's leave the closing remark. And what could you think potentially we will be talking about tomorrow? Now with this whole CIA jamboree, Holobala now jump in here, what could be the emerging news overnight? That's a long period of time. 30 seconds, guys. Put a cap on the head before we go.
Oh, let me just about 30 seconds just to add to the emerging news right now be the opposition. Like Koto was saying, if you are engaged most of the top unity partisan that can sit with Omen Boyka and discuss critical issues, they are not happy. And some of them have vowed to say that if GMB try it, they will leave the party. They will put their support behind Elizana Komi or Tiawan Gonglo.
Elizana Komi or Tiawan Gonglo. Yeah. The Liberal is now suffering from severe pain because I don't think things are coming out here. So let me let you take some to recuperate, and then we'll Sissy.
Watch the Costa tips. My brother, Dr. Toto, that said Costa strong. Watch the tips from today. If you see somebody got under his skin, that is the hallmark of a leader. When he couldn't even take calls from people, he said, those are seditions. The Mona Belen Unity Party being there. Don't take the call, don't take the call. He was asking his guy to not take calls from other Liberians simply because they disagree with him. And he termed them sedition. You're going to be president of the Republic of Liberia, and you are saying don't take calls from other people because they're seditions? Look, you cannot be a leader if your temperament is not contained. And I'll tell you this, and I'll put that out here just with Koto. And I know Koto didn't want to go that far, but I will go way further than Koto. I have said on this platform numerous times that any opposition party that runs against the CDC as it is for round 2, I will support that party. Unless that party gets a vice presidential candidate who is next in line of succession that has a bad temperament, I would not support that opposition political party.
That's what's a strange one here. I think the temperature is getting high. It's time for us to take easy. The Liberal Progressive.
Mr. So, what I can say, and this year to close it, and it will be, this is just a exercise of our tongue, because the former vice president will not even entertain the idea of selecting Henry Costa to be the vice president of the Republic of Liberia. It's not happening, and it's not even going to be something that will be put in any chat room. I mean, not chat room, among themselves, the leadership of the party, to even for a discussion. It's not happening. However, the fact that we're talking about it, they're getting some little free airtime and free commercial. Let's put it that way. So we're not the only people that talk about it, and I think this is one of the genius aspect of Costa. He does these things to publicize. I mean, to bring into public or publicize whatever it is that he wants to talk about, or what he thinks people need to talk about. So I think it's all that is happening. It has nothing to do with Ambassador Barker making that kinds of decision. Ambassador Barker will not even bring this up for discussion among themselves in a circle of Ambassador Barker. They're not going to discuss that. But Mr. So, before I go, I want to quickly say here again, as a liberal on this network, my views are very, very important, and they are always right. Thank you for the night.
Koto Jalabalayant, tell us, what are we taking home?
What are we taking home tonight is voter registration is on. And before we close, I will speak my Loma again. I want for us to talk to our people to go and register. And when I watched few of the tip this morning, I noticed that there were some problem at the voter registration sites. I hope they will try to resolve those problems. Because if you have people going to register and you delay them, you are like creating some fatigue in them to continue the registration process. So let them go and register.
Let's do that.
And again, let me just put that little one in. Be careful. The candidates, the various candidates, as to who to choose as your vice senate bearer, because it is that person that might serve as your assistant. That person should be equally qualified to be a president before you can take them as your vice president, because you don't never know that anytime you would need that person to stand on behalf of you. So you got to be very careful.
Quickly, let's hear the Laman before we go. Quickly. What's the Laman message say?
I share a pellet one in the chat room. Remember that?
That message? Why you now sharing the Gisi one or Laman one before you sharing pellet one? Why you start when the Bon Country people know you?
Mr. Dr. Toto.
So many isn't it? But that's why I want to go to fire. I will buy back. I will na fire. Naga put some more. Naga ever go global woman. Can you tip as yes? That's it. Yes, I to put us a kuflu where's a guy. I did not tell us you. Tell us you na correct physique. Na it is a cigar. Evoke zala. Nama alu wala sigiu. I don't say the attack at least gonna da sigiu. Vosaki Malangia zina vos. Nama alina au wala sigi to bo. Ula sigi to wala sigi to put to correct the ea. Menatuya Ikabaga pago. A car mania didn't got call play. Na the day I got call Omen Boka. Mania didn't got call na. I don't know what is it at the mazo. Ni ena kufro we fana bata so we tell to trigger aba a fata ni gazulo tama ni as other user. Na the ka rezo other user. Wa no ga taulu zulo ma. Na ma ali wala sigi wo. Vosagi malangi azina over wala wa voiza bi usina We say na mama adana poko for lima.
Ooh, wow. Guys, thank you so much.
You see the thing I can start on the platform? They almost start her whole greeting with my baby Bene. Then she anyway to say Baga Bene. They almost I would not toss her leave my own go.
You say your baby, yeah?
Yeah, anytime she starts
I
kissing the people,
I think I have to get something now to interpret these dollars and things then before we.
I said the guy who with a beer, he just disturbing me when I want to talk. He don't want me to talk to the people in love.
Okay. Okay, guys, we want to thank you so much for your time. We a little bit went over, but we will be stressing on the time. 2 hours is great, and sometimes. But to all our folks, we want to do our best here to create public awareness. So if any of our followers, we want to do a 1 minute 45-second dialect public awareness piece about the elections. I'm not talking about running campaign, who to go vote for, but the idea, the conduct of the process is feel free and do that self-recorded video. The 682-433 is on WhatsApp. If we can guess the 16 or 15, how many dollars? I don't know the history again.
16.
16. Oh.
$16.
You can even speak it.
It should be more than 16. If you got this Sapo, it should be more than 16.
Oh boy,
but and Sapo people from Liberia again.
Yeah, but they're not considered a dialect or a
See,
tribe.
the problem we get our whole
they are considered as what? Was it all dialects? If you even look in the Crown Bell, the Lofa Bell.
If that's the case, you will be counting over 100.
Yeah, then we can do that.
Because
on a serious note,
you got more. You got more than 50.
Then you want to say Gizima and Bonnet. That's why it is.
Gizima and Bonnet, the Sapo and Crown. They're not even.
No, it is.
So if we can get people to do those commercials, we'll play we want peaceful elections, non-violent process. Let the people be given the opportunity to choose who they want to vote for. The conduct of democracy it comes with pain, and part of that is either you win it or you lose it.
Just quick disclosure to Achimo, I'm not going to the closing argument because the argument ain't even start yet. I'm staying here on LPR because that talking say like I'm going to the closing argument. I'm here. Don't start plowing with me on my platform.
Actually, stop that. I don't think you want get. Don't make us ban you here. No, not at all. It's Achimota. He always striking. Guys, I want to thank you so much for your time this evening. By God's willing, same time, same station. We'll be here tomorrow with another editions of All Things Considered. Who knows? Something new going to emerge. That's the beauty of democracy in Liberia. Thank you so much and have a pleasant evening.
Michael.
Okay, well, folks, and to our many viewers, listeners across the globe, we want to thank you so much for your time this evening. Your comments, your tweets, your interactions is so much rewarding. And that's what we want to do. We want to take a holistic view of our country, how it looks like, where we are going as a nation, as a people. Having these conversations in the civil context is so key, it's so vital for the stability of modern democracy. We can agree and disagree, but must create a normal and peaceful environment. Thereby, we can have these critical national conversations and create the ability to be persuasive in our argument, why your party should be, why your leader should be, and not just the personality aspect of the conversation. The old man turned the wall, time has caught up with us. If this is your first time, we say thank you so much for popping through here. Spread the news, follow, like. If you are like Maki, sometimes my own notification goes up and I find it very difficult to find even my own live feed. Go back to the video. And on the video, play the video. You're going to see an icon, which is a bell icon image. Tap on that image, that belt. There will be a drop-down options. You want to click on the one that says Alt notifications. Do not take the suggested one. The suggested one, it will do a random sampling and pick what you don't even want. But as long as you click on the Alt notification, trust me, when LPR is live, you will get a bit and piece of what we're having. And you can question us if you have suggestions, if you have idea as to how we can enhance, improve, have conversations where we're falling short. We are open to that. Send all those messages. Liberia Public Radio 2012 at gmail.com. LIB Messenger. Even my personal is okay. Even the phone number 682-433-8802 is available via WhatsApp. Tell us how you feel about our broadcasting system. Tell us how you feel, where we are falling short and where we can also improve. We are human beings and no one is infallible. It is important that we re-emphasize on that. But what I can tell you though, means all of the panelists, we go back to those and there's a learning process. We take your comments very seriously, your contributions, whether we agree or disagree, but we'll give it a good line to reasonings and try to process where you are coming from as a Liberian and why you are thinking the way you are thinking. However, we do not convict you of your arguments, of your opinions or views expressed. That's part of the civil liberties we all must have. We want to thank you so much for your time this evening. Tomorrow, there's going to be a special broadcast here at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. There is a book I've been encouraging you to. A book will be launched in Liberia. So we're going to be taking a live coverage. I'm going to be right here at the New England Bureau Desk. Liberty Hijack. Liberty Hijack is written by an award journalist winner, legendary Kai Gerowle, who was also a former Minister of Government, Republic of Liberia. The book will be launched inside Liberia tomorrow in the nation's capital of Monrovia. 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time will be taking the airwaves. And we hope to capture the launching ceremony inside Liberia. We want you to join us. On Thursday, a guy, a man, a young Liberian, the Honorable Samuel Babajua, is contesting for District Number 3, Bon County, Greater Liberia, Republic of Liberia. Will be my guest here at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 1 p.m. in Greater Liberia. He's currently in the nation's capital of Monrovia. He will be joining me, and we're going to be having a conversation as to why he wants to go to Capitol Hill. Is he going there for the 30K? Is he going there to change what his political ideologies? When we create this sort of conversations, it's meant to strengthen Liberia. Which party does he represent? Is he an independent, or who is he? What is he going to add, or what is he going to subtract? We're going to be having a conversation. And one person that have captured my imagination in his talking point, Liberia Public Radio does not have a boundary. It will go beyond the eye and see where it makes sense we have these conversations. Mohammed Kamara. Mohammed Kamara is on Freedom Watch FM in Liberia. He operates and I conduct the program Kapao Liberia Free of Crime. He comes on every 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time up to 4 o'clock in the morning in Liberia. I have listened, I have followed this young man for quite a while now. Kapao Liberia. It's a crime called Crime Stopper. And I've seen what he has done, his program, being a life-saving program for many Liberians who are attacked. People have the right for their social recreation. We go out here and come back 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. So I don't think people should be sanctions of their social civil liberties. And so his program is really been bearing out fruits, considering the fact my own daughter, a couple of years ago, armed robbers went into their home and everything was raped. Break out, took everything, phones, food, and everything. But I was grateful. The only thing, and she was crying, Daddy, see what has happened in my phone. You know, kids crying for cell phone because it's iPhone, blah, blah. I like the question, what I was concerned with, did anybody put hand on you? That was my worry. And as God may have it, that did not happen. And I was listening one night on Mohammed Kamara program when a lady was attacked and the neighbor, a good Samaritan, called on that live program. He in turn called the police and there was an intervention. So there's people who are having the second thought or who is giving back to the country. Kapao Liberia, Crime Stopper. I will be having a conversation with him. This Saturday, we are working on the time. And I really find interest in what he's doing. And we are willing to do whatever little way we can because the children have to play. People are entitled to their social recreation. People should go have leisure time after work, weekends. You shouldn't be worrying when you're coming home because somebody's going to be in the corner there to slap you, to hate you, and snatch your phone, and sometimes to kill you. We as a citizen, we do have a responsibility as well to minimize, to supplement government initiative. We do know it is a state responsibility, but what are we doing? Are we also keeping to watch to our neighbors when they are in danger? These are conversations we can also encourage. We can also make an intervention. And seeing what this young man is doing from 12 a.m. Liberian time to 4 o'clock, because that's the time crime is also on the rise. He on air, and people are calling in real time. But last week, there was an intervention in Real Lake. There was incidents around Corway where 2 blind people were almost killing one another. There was an incident Chikisu Factory Junction in Ghanansville. People called in, and in turn, he called the police, and there was an intervention, a rescue mission took place. So these are informative programs, all the things that we can also support and lend support, regardless of your political association. Because when the country is not at peace, your political leader will not be in Capitol Hill or the executive mansion. So what do? We as a people, we as a nation, we can also help to secure Liberia. I want to thank you so much for your time this evening. By God's willing, I'm going to be right back here tomorrow to have a more conversation. Thank you for your comments, your tweet. If this is first time we say it, we salute you. We throw the red carpet. Be a follower to our Liberia Public Radio. You can listen to many other news outlets. You have the right because you want to know what is going on. But we caution you as you listen, put on your thinking care because sometimes it becomes dangerous. Things that you listen to, you process it and you act on it because there's a mental intervention in that entering. So be very, very careful. Listen to some of them, but don't contain them because they could be contaminated. I am Afonso Z, and so have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
How you doing? Suyo. How you doing? Abonye. Suyo. How you doing? Suyo. How you doing? Abonye. Suyo. How you doing? Abonye. Suyo. How you doing? Abonye. Suyo. Abonye. Suyo. Si agayo. Gadi ono si agayo. Asi agayo. Ayaja ipawo. Abonye o. Yayo zwala. La seye chezila. Je na pwe be anu edrutuo. Abebe o. Royan o si ageye. Asi ageye royan. Asi agayo. Si agayo. Asi agaye. Asi agayo. Ayaja ipa o.
The message that when we play a song here, there's a message inside. Let us be friendly. Let us like one another. We do not have to be so bitter because we do not agree with somebody. Only togetherness can build a country, build a community, and even build our home. did not meet your core values?
I resigned. Before I resigned, I issued a 13-page press statement. It's on the internet. If you check, you'll find it. And then the president subsequently called me back into government because at that time, she had sent all the cabinet ministers home for 2 weeks compulsory leave. I was one of those that she called back. And I said, no, I'm not coming back into your government because what I believe you will do is not what you are doing. This country went into civil conflict and over 300,000 people were killed because of bad governance. And I see the same thing
happening,
being done by you. The same thing is happening.
That's why you told the president?
Yes, in a conversation with her. And I said, thank you, but I'm not coming back to the government. Anything good in Liberia. Louis Brown was National Security Advisor to Charles Taylor, man. That was the time I was tortured.
This seems to me ANC now.
Let them be